Julie Fei Fan Balzer, your host for Scrapbook Soup. And today we're creating some very useful scrapbook ideas, beginning with these design-driven pencils. So I'm going to start here on a piece of palette paper. And you could use anything that has a shiny surface, and then, because you want the tape to be able to peel back off, that's the real issue. So I'm just going to take a piece of washi tape. And washi tape is just a tape that's made from traditional washi paper, which is a Japanese transparent paper, and it tends to be somewhat removable. So these pencils, actually, you can switch around the designs as you feel like it. So I'm going to put down two pieces right overlapping each other, just like that, because that's going to be wide enough to fit around my pencil, okay? And it also has to be longer than the pencil. Then I'm going to take a paint pen, and these come in lots of tip widths, so I'm going to use the widest one. I'm just going to shake it up, and I can hear that it's moving around in there. And then I'm going to go ahead and depress the tip just to make sure everything's running okay. And once I'm sure it's fine, I'm just going to do a series of easy stripes, because again, doodling should just be about having fun. This is a great thing to do with kids so they can make their own pencils for school. You can do these for favors, for a wedding or anything like that. I think it'd be really great. And you can see how easy it is to do stripes. And just as a contrast, this is a medium-sized tip, also called a fine tip, and I'm just going to go ahead and shake that up as well and depress the tip once again. Always good to have a piece of scrap paper on hand. And you can see that that white ink draws so easily and nicely right on top of that dark blue, because these are opaque paint pens. So you can see that I've completed that step here across. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the smallest size of pen, otherwise known as an extra fine, shake it up, again depress the tip, and then I'm just going to draw some random circles. These do not have to be perfect circles. They just need to be little fun circles all around. So you can see here, of course, that I've done some of them there on the next step. And then I'm going to go back. I'm taking advantage of all the tip widths of these because, you know, coloring is a lot of work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the biggest tip, so I have to do the least amount of work. And you can see how quickly that fills that in. And for the smaller circles, it's simply a dot. And you can see that even on top of that nice dark copper color, I'm still getting a nice clean white. It's one of the things that I think is really great. So once everything has dried, because again, they're paint pens, they do need a little bit of time to dry, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and carefully pull up both pieces of tape at the same time if I can. And it'll come up. Now, before I've got it fully off, one little tip is I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to cut the end because I want a straight end, okay? And then I'm going to pull it the rest of the way off. And now I'm flipping it so that the design side is down. I'm going to take my pencil and right up against the metal edge of the pencil, I'm going to place that straight part that I caught. Now, this is all a little bit crooked, so I'm just going to peel it back up. Again, washi tape is very forgiving. And I'm going to go ahead and put it down a little bit straighter. Then I simply roll one direction, roll the other direction, and I'm going to create a nice little seam all around here. And then I'm just going to snip off the end. Ooh, you can even feel where that end is. And that'll be a nice, neat end. And I can just continue to snip around here until it's just right. And when I'm done, I won't take the time to do that now, you'll see that I'll have something that looks a little bit like this finished one right here, which I think looks really great. And you can see that I've also done some fun things. Here you go. There's a Jules Rules pencil right there because, you know, Jules does rule. And again, you could do it for a wedding or anything else. And I wanted to just show you really quickly, I have a whole bunch of other tapes here that, again, the doodles don't need to be complicated at all. You can just do a big circle, fill it in, you know, add a little bit of detailing with a contrasting pen, just like this, and that's enough to do something really great. Now, if you're thinking about sharpening these pencils, because you'll notice that I have one here that's sharpened, you can sharpen them, but you need to use an electric pencil sharpener because I found that the regular like crank ones, it just tends to take the tape off. So you can see here That is possible. You can also, and this is kind of fun, you can peel this tape right off if you want a new pencil to restart. So what do you say we do one more little quick doodle? This is one of my favorites that I thought I would show you, which is, it's sort of, I think it's kind of 50s inspired. It has that kind of look, like those old 50s clocks, you know, that had those little rays coming out. And again, most doodles are comprised of some very basic shapes: circles, lines, squares, and triangles. So this is just circle with lines coming out of it, right? Circle, line, line, circle, circle. And you could do a variation of it really easily. You could take a square and have lines coming out of it and make those squares. And suddenly you have something very, very fancy looking. And then again, remember I said that there was one more shape after squares, circles, and lines, and that's triangles. So easily I can take a triangle, and then I can also have some little triangles coming out of there. And remember, this isn't something that has to be consistent. You know, you can play around with sizes and shapes and all sorts of stuff. And now, of course, I can decorate these. Let's shake this up and test it. And again, I'm just gonna color in all the little areas. I think the thing about doodles that really makes them sing is all the fun details that you can add. So let's see, I'm thinking we could add a little bit of writing to this one. Or actually, let's just do a circle, 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 and then maybe a little bit, this is my pencil, hands off. You never know what you're gonna wanna put on. So that's just how easy it is to create your wonderful artful pencils. And remember, if you have excess tape left over, you can use them on your scrapbook pages or anywhere else.